Hello everyone and welcome to Book Days.
The book of the day is Blueberries for Sal by Robert McCloskey. This is such a classic book all about little Sal and her mother going berry picking on Blueberry Hill. At the same time, Mama Bear and Little Bear are eating blueberries themselves. Little Sal puts blueberries in her pail with the famous kerplink, kerplink, kerplunk. She eats all her berries and then wanders away from her mother to try and find some more. Her and Little Bear end up wandering off to find berries, and then they go back each to find the wrong mother. But don't worry, in the end, it all works out. Be sure to find this classic at your local bookstore or library today. And now it's time for our adventure. We're off to Murchison, Texas, where we are going to visit the Echo Springs Blueberry Farm and learn where blueberries come from and how to pick them. It's going to be a great adventure. Let's go.
Today's adventure brings us to the Echo Springs Blueberry Farm in Murchison, Texas, where we are going to learn all about the world of blueberries. I hope you're hungry. So Phyllis, thank you so much for having us out today.
Well, thank you for coming.
So this is your family's farm, is that right?
My husband and myself.
Yes, and how did this farm start?
That's a very complicated, how did it start? It started in the 80s with a couple that they had that field over there, about 5 acres of blueberries. And then my husband wanted to have a farm, but not have livestock. So we found this. They were ill and they wanted to sell, but there were no buildings on the farm at all. And just, so we've built everything up.
Wow, and so did you have to plant each individual bush?
Yes.
Wow.
We went from 5 acres to 75.
Wow, and what does it take from start to finish for a blueberry plant till they start producing?
They produce the first year actually.
Wow.
But very small.
And are there different types of blueberries?
Well, yes, there's a lot of different types. There's 4 types that grow in Texas.
Okay.
And those are, because they only need, in Texas, the ones that grow here require only 400 hours of cold a year. The ones that grow in the north require 800 hours of cold.
Wow.
So the northern ones will not grow down here. And these are called southern high bush.
High bush, very interesting.
Yeah.
And we discussed earlier the book Blueberries for Sal.
Yes.
And what is something that you love about that book?
Well, because I think it appeals to young children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys not only can pick for the families can come out and pick, but you also have so many wonderful products here to sell.
Well, thank you.
Everything blueberry. Do you make all of those things?
We do.
Yes?
Yes. We used to make all the jams and jellies, but we can no longer do that. It's too large.
Oh, yes. What would some tip be for a family that comes out and picks blueberries?
Early in the morning.
Yeah, especially in Texas.
Yes.
And what is something that you love about this farm that's super special to you, and blueberries in particular? Why you guys picked that?
Well, I think what is really nice about this is the solitude and the serenity, which you don't get in a lot of farms.
True.
And also the people that we meet that come in. Because over 20 years we've amassed quite a large population of people.
That's so special that people come from all around Texas.
No, all around U.S.
Wow! Yeah. That is awesome.
So.
And what kind of soil do these blueberries?
Acidic.
Acidic.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed your amazing blueberry picker. How often do you send the machine out?
You have to pick the bushes 3 times by hand before you can send the machine out. because otherwise it'll take all your green off, which would be your next crop of berries.
And I noticed when the machine went out, it didn't get all of them. Do the pickers go behind the machines?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many times can the machine go out and pickers before they're just done for the season?
Well, on a normal year, by July the 15th, they're starting to really, the heat gets them, and then they're starting to really become scarce. So we always close the last weekend of July.
Okay.
There still are berries out there, of course, but yeah.
And they are so sweet. Is there something about the soil or the water that makes them just incredibly sweet?
Well, the agricultural mentor that we had when we came here, he said it's from the underground springs that flow through here.
Wow.
This is Echo Springs Blueberry Farm, and that's why it was called Echo Springs, because there's all underground springs under here.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's really due to the water.
Well, the water, yes, and the soil.
And
the soil is sandy and acidic. Yeah.
Fantastic. So after you guys close for the season, what is it like here, and what do you do for the plants?
Well, that's when the real work starts, because when you have 10,000 people out there picking, like we've had the last few years, they step on the irrigation, they break the little emitters. So every single plant you have to go through and check the emitters. Then you do, in the fall, you do the pruning of the trees, take all the dead off, that. And then we only use organic spray, like phosphorus, calcium, and that's all that's on our. And then we also have to remove all that grass underneath.
Wow. So the actual plants never come up. Like you never have to take the blueberry plants out of the ground.
No.
Like they always stay there.
Oh yeah.
And you just do you prune them?
Yes, you prune them every year.
Yes.
And one year you do the tops, the next year you do the sides.
Wow.
So,
really interesting.
Because otherwise they would grow to 20 feet. And your berries only come out on the new growth, so you don't want people on ladders out there picking.
Oh, wow. That is really interesting.
Yeah. And that's why they're called high bush, I guess.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah. So it takes until January to get all of that done, and then from January till May, you try to do all of your work with wholesalers to make sure that you've got contracts for the next summer, and try to get all your paperwork and that done. And then, of course, the cleaning is constant.
Wow.
Painting, cleaning.
The upkeep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where do you guys ship your blueberries to? What grocery stores around Texas?
Well, our blueberries go to a wholesaler, and then the wholesaler, he's the one that fights with the grocery stores. But so we hear where they are. They're in Whole Foods. They're in Albertsons. They're in Texas. We've even had calls from Canada. They're there. So wherever he sells them, once he buys them from here, we've kind of lost control.
That reminds me of the strawberries, that they thrive in Texas in acidic as well.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really
you're so
appreciate it. This is a beautiful farm. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this special Book Day episode. I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful experience here in Murchison, Texas at the Echo Springs Blueberry Farm. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming adventures. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Want more book days? Well, the adventure has only begun. Check out these episodes and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming adventures.